How do everybody? Here we are at the BGS Cafe, that's Bike Gear Superstore Cafe for those that don't know, in Warrington. We're going on a last ride today, paying our respects to a fellow biker by the name of Steve Wells, known to his friends as Legs. He leaves behind a partner and a child, and today his extended family come together one last time. From here we'll just take the short ride to the funeral home where all the bikes are meeting up. bikes are already starting to gather here, and there will be many more, I'm sure, when the time comes for us to set off on the escort.
reasonable turnout.
I presume that was rugby ground we went past, weren't it?
Yeah.
I don't know your origin having a football team. Yeah, plenty of time for people to do it.
Yeah. So you look at that alley at the side of the Vulcaness there, and how similar it looks to my intruder. You can see what Suzuki were aiming for.
Oh, yeah.
Alright,
Squeeze through.
You would be so right in front of the gate, wouldn't you?
oh, and this bike's going into MCO on Monday. ABS has started working again. ABS light goes out now.
It's like going to the dentist with a toothache.
Or calling the TV repair man. Back wheel does need rebalancing though. Can feel it, you know, when you're riding.
Oh, it's just one that weights fell off. Isn't it?
Yeah, well, I found two of them and put them back on, but I don't know if any others fell off. And that's what I said to him, I'm sure I don't know if any others fell off. So.
So fucking fall off. Somebody's not put them on right.
Well, they only stick on. I remember when, like, if you haven't done with cars, they actually clip to the rim. Not on these, they just stick on.
It's called improving something that it broke.
Yeah. Well, not really. Bike rims are different to car rims, so.
Well, you can. Well, you could. Let me see. There it is. I seem to be going down a long way then before my arse hits seat. I'm like, where's the second seat gone? It's the thing about when you get older, you start expecting the seat to arrive a lot longer before it actually will. It's like getting up again. It seems to be a lot higher just standing from the seat to position.
But anyway, I didn't really put it right in front of the gate. I left him enough room. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. The St George's Cross on the back of your seat's a waste of time.
Yeah, because that's it where you can't see it. But it's there, it's the thought that counts.
I'm going to have flags on mine, but they're all going to be the same flag, but I want them looking different, blowing different light in the wind. They're my skull and crossbones that's down there on a red background. Do you know the difference between a red background, a skull and crossbones with a red background, and a skull and crossbones with a black background?
Does it matter?
Yes. It did matter in the day.
I would guess. One of them was licensed by the King as a privateer.
No.
Oh, what then?
if the skull and crossbones was flying with a black background, they all had both. It was flying with a black background. If the ship surrendered, they'd just take the goods, let them keep the ship and let them go. If the skull and crossbones had a red background, no prisoners.
Right.
It was a warning to the other ship.
Seems a bit pointless. Because if you show that to another ship, that means that ship is no way, no how going to surrender and they're going to fight to the last man. So it seems pointless.
I'll move out to the road.
Do you want a picture of it?
Alright.
Who wants a picture of you ever?
Whatever. Whatever.
See? I'd rather have a picture of my sweetie pie than your leg. There's a young biker. Hey?
She's making noises as well. What is that?
To an outsider, I get it, this can look a bit intimidating. A wall of leather, chrome and steel taking over the road. It looks just like a loud, imposing procession, but it's not about the noise. It's about a promise. This collection of riders, most of them never even met the person who they're honouring. They don't know their life story, their favourite tune or what their laugh sounded like. So why are they here then? Escorting someone they seemingly don't know on their final ride home? The answer tells you something powerful about community, honour, and the kind of bond that's forged on two wheels. A funeral procession is always a sombre thing. Usually, it's a quiet line of cars, headlights on, creeping towards a final resting place. But when that procession is led by a fleet of bikers, saying goodbye to one of their own, the whole feel of it changes. That quiet grief becomes a public statement. It's a rolling tribute that's impossible to ignore. A tradition we call the last ride. And for every person who pulls over to let them pass, the question that hangs in the air is simple. Why? Why do these guys and girls, often from different towns and different walks of life, answer a call to ride for someone they might not have known personally? It's easy to think they're all close mates or family, and sometimes they are, but more often the connection's bigger than that. They're honouring a fellow rider, a veteran, a first responder, or just a member of the massive connected family that is the biker community. In that context, the person in the coffin isn't a total stranger, they're one of our own. And in this world, you don't let one of your own make that final journey alone. The act turns into a private loss, into a shared, powerful community ritual. Simple as. There's no rule book for this. It's not written down anywhere. The traditions change depending on where you are, which club it is, if it is one at all, and what the family wants. You might see a last rev, where all the engines are roared together as a final salute, or a missing man formation. But that's not standard everywhere. This is more about a shared philosophy, a mindset you get from a life lived on the road. To ride a motorcycle is to understand risk. You have to. It's accepting you're a bit vulnerable out there in exchange for a feeling of freedom that's hard to find anywhere else. That shared understanding creates an unspoken pact. Riders look out for each other on the motorways, and that vigilance extends beyond the tarmac. It extends to life and, in the end, to death. The last ride is the final part of that pact. For the one who has passed, it's a proper, powerful escort and a statement that their identity as a rider is being honoured right to the very end. But the escort is just as much for the living. For a grieving family, the sight and sound of dozens, sometimes hundreds of bikes arriving to honour their loved one can be a massive source of comfort. It's a loud, thundering reminder that the person they lost was part of something bigger, and that they aren't alone in their grief. In a way, the escort becomes a shield against the loneliness of it all. So, is it really for a stranger? Nah. The connection might be indirect, but it's almost always there. A call might go out on social media. A brother or sister is down. Now that brother or sister could be a member of a specific club, but just as often it's simply a fellow enthusiast known in local circles, and saddest of all, sometimes it's for a kid who just loved bikes. That wasn't the case today, but it has been too many times in the past. How many steps removed you are doesn't matter a jot. What matters is that shared identity. Organising a last ride is proof of the power of these community networks. A request from a family can spread through social media in just a few hours. A time and a place are set, and the riders simply show up. Now, there's a common misunderstanding here about the traffic situation. While some professional funeral escort services use riders who are trained and legally allowed to manage traffic, the vast majority of us in these community-led escorts are not. In most places, we have no more authority to block a junction than any other citizen. To keep the procession together, experienced riders might informally ride ahead to politely signal to drivers at upcoming junctions, asking them to wait. But this is a delicate, unofficial business, and the legality of it all can be a grey area. The goal is to keep the family, the hearse and the riders together, so the solemnity of the moment isn't broken by a red light. This isn't a joyride, it's a duty. The discipline itself, no stunting, no burnouts, although you can get some idiots that do that. It's a form of respect. To be in the middle of a last ride is to feel it in your bones. The air vibrates, the sound becomes this single, unified heartbeat from dozens of engines. This is the community in motion, a living, breathing memorial. The faces of the riders are set with purpose. They're stoic, focused, and completely in the moment. As you pass through towns, people stop and watch. Cars pull over, and sometimes you'll see a driver place a hand over their heart for a few seconds. The world just seems to pause to witness this final farewell. Each motorbike is a testament to the impact the fallen rider had, not just on the family, but on a culture. Sometimes a space is left open in the formation, the missing man position, a powerful visual symbol of the rider who is gone. In some deeply personal tributes, if the person was cremated, their ashes might even be carried on that final journey by a mate, strapped to a bike for one last ride in the wind. These aren't just gestures, they are sacred rituals. Each mile is a tribute, and each engine's roar is a word in a eulogy that can't be spoken. When the procession finally reaches its destination, the engines fall silent. Sometimes after a ride by, creating a wall of noise as the coffin is carried into the church, as a final resounding goodbye to a friend that most of us never knew in life, but that we acknowledge in death. And it's here that the answer to the question why becomes crystal clear. It was never really about escorting a stranger. It was about accompanying a brother or sister home. It was about showing a grieving family that their loss is the community's loss as well. In a world that can feel disconnected, the last ride is a strong, thundering display of connection. It's a promise made public that for those who live by the freedom of two wheels, that final journey is never made alone. The traditions of the last ride are deeply personal and can look different all over the world. Have you ever witnessed a procession like this? Or maybe you've ridden in one yourself? Share your experiences and what this tradition means to you in the comments below. Your stories are a part of this tribute. And to all of the brothers and sisters we've lost over the years, rest in peace. We will meet again, and one day we'll all ride the wind together. If this video found you, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It helps the channel a lot. Ride safe, keep the rubber on the road, and I'll see you in the next one.